In today's project, we're going to use the skills we learnt in the last tutorial, add a magnet, to create these cocktail magnets. Let's make this. My inspiration comes from two places. The stickers we made 2 weeks ago and also from creating magnets. I'm really getting into making magnets in different ways, and I would want to know ways I can make them as handmade as possible. So I really wanted to be able to personalize these or customize these to fit my own decor or fit my own themes. So it's just another way of creating magnets for your fridge. The materials for today's project are scrap adhesive vinyl, scrap iron-on vinyl. So I've got my 2 folders there. I've got a strong grip mat as well as a standard grip mat. And I've got a magnet sheet. I got mine from a shop down here in Tasmania called Shiploads, but you can get these online. You can get these at Spotlight. I've got the adhesive ones, but you can also, I think, get ones that are non-adhesive. You'll also need a long blade for your machine. So I've got a separate blade for that. I'm going to start today's tutorial in ChatGPT. Now, I think it's just time for everyone to just get on the bandwagon. Stop fighting it. It's there. You may as well use it for things that are good. Don't use it for evil. Use it for good. So I'm actually using it to find some phrases about cocktails because I want to create a set or a couple of different magnets that have got to do with cocktails because we love cocktails in our house. So I think that would be a really cool way of adding our personality to our fridge. I've started with lychee martinis because we really do like a lychee martini, but I'm not obsessed with any of them. Lychee and chill is okay, and you can see there that I've given the prompt, please give me some funny phrases about lychee martinis, no more than 4 words long. So I don't want something that's like a long sentence or anything because we're going to be putting them on magnets, but I didn't like them. So then I've just asked it, please make it more generic to cocktails in general. And so I think there's some cute ones there. So Sip Sip Hooray is a really good one. I like Just One More. I like Cocktail O'Clock. Bottoms Up, Shaken Not Bothered. That's a really good one too, particularly because we do like a lychee martini in our house. So now that I've got my cocktail sayings, now I'm just going to go into design space. I am just creating text-based magnets or text-based designs, but you absolutely could go and get some images or do a whole heap of different things. But I am really falling towards designs that are just text-based because I really love fonts. I am like a little font nerd, but also they're quite easy and they're simple. So you can do things like this really quickly, but get a really good final product. So I started by creating a square. The only reason I've created that square is because that's the size of the magnet sheet that I've got left. So I don't have a full magnet sheet because I've used it before for our Love Me to My Bones magnet that I made earlier, very early in my YouTube life. So I have only got that space. So I've just created a space to show that. And then I'm going to just put different text with different font types. So I'm going to start with Cocktail O'Clock. So I've chosen an Art Deco style font here for the cocktail. And then I want to do a script font. So I've picked Aktuki Font something. It's very thin. The issue with the thin font is it's hard to cut. So I've just gone into offset and I've added an offset of 0.1. And then I've kept the offset and I've gotten rid of the text because I don't need the text. What I want is just the offset component because that's now an image that will cut. So I've started off by making them 17 centimeter width and then I've aligned them center horizontally. And now I'm just going to move them around and create an offset. So I've started by creating an offset around o'clock, which is a 0.1 offset. And then I've thought to myself, I might actually make the word cocktail a taller version of itself. So I've clicked on it and I have I've clicked on unite. So gone down to combine and unite. And then I have just stretched it. So you can see that it's actually a bit taller now. Then I've clicked on the word cocktail and the offset around the word o'clock, and I've gone down and I've done a slice. I've just deleted all the components that I don't need, and you can see there that now o'clock nestles nicely into the word cocktail. I've selected both the word cocktail and o'clock, and I've done a width of 10 because I don't want a really big wide magnet. So 10 it's still a pretty big magnet actually, but it will also allow us to see the text properly. Now the next one I'm going to do is the Sip Sip Hooray, and I'm going to follow similar processes. So I'm going to do offsets. I'm going to change my font sizes. I'm going to change the kinds of fonts that I'm using. And I'm just going to continue to follow that process. So I'll do Sip Sip Hooray, and then I've also got Shaken Not Bothered. So I'm just going to speed that up for everyone. On this Shaken Not Bothered, you can see there I've got little slithers underneath the H and the A. And I want to get rid of those because I don't want the Cricut to cut them, because we're probably not going to be able to lift them or weed them properly anyway. So you can see I've just clicked on the word shaken. I've gone over to my contour. This is after I've done my slice. And I've just deleted all of the tiny little components that will become a little bit bothersome. So it hasn't changed what the word says. It hasn't changed the way the word is portrayed. But what it has done is actually make it easier for me. So once I've done that, I've gone through each of the other ones as well. So you can see there was nothing I needed to do in Sip Sip Hooray, but I did have to fix a little bit up in the word cocktail. Once I've done that, I'm just going to save. Now I'm going to put an offset around each of our magnets for two reasons. First of all, because we need the sticker component that will go onto our magnet, but we also need the magnet. So I'm going to try a 0.3 around cocktail o'clock, and now I might have to change each of these based on the shape of the words and those kind of things, but around about a 0.3, I need to make sure that I get rid of all of the contours around the outside of them because, I need to get rid of all of the contours within each of those offsets because we don't want to be cutting a wholly magnet or a wholly sticker. And also then I'm going to, once I've done the offset, I select the original plus the offset, and then I make it back to that 10 centimeter size. And then once I've done that, I then also have to duplicate each of those offsets. So we're going to do 3 different cuts. We've got a magnet cut, we've got a iron-on vinyl cut, and we've also got an adhesive vinyl cut. So the iron-on vinyl is other words. So the cocktail o'clock, the Sip Sip Hooray, and the Shaken Not Bothered, they are all going to be on one mat. So you can see there I've got all of them the same size, the same colour. And then when I go in to make, I'll manipulate them so that I've got my different colours or my different vinyl, adhesive vinyl shades. Then I'm going to keep the one as a purple, and that's going to be either the magnet or the sticker. And then the other one is a pink, and that's going to be either the magnet or the sticker. I need to choose one of them to mirror. So I'm going to have to mirror matte 1 because it's going to be an iron-on vinyl. And then I am also going to mirror matte 2 because the magnet, when you cut it, it then flips itself around. So the part that's facing up on the magnet is actually the part that hits the fridge. The side that is against the paper is the adhesive side, which is where we're going to put our sticker. So I need to make sure that I mirror matte 2 as well, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to use it with the sticker on there because it will be in the weird reverse. So mirror the text and mirror one of the offset mats just to make sure. If you're not using an adhesive magnet, you don't need to worry about that. But if you are using an adhesive magnet, make sure that you mirror. Otherwise, you'll end up with an issue when you go to make it because it's going to be back to front. So then when I go through, I'm going to set mat number 1 as a everyday iron-on. None of the iron-on vinyls that I'm using are any weird kind of vinyl, no thick vinyls, no flock, nothing like that. So it's just everyday iron-on. Mat number 2, I'm going to do a browse. So I go browse all materials, type in magnet, and I'm going to say I'm using the 1mm magnet because that seems to be the thicker one. It's going to tell me to put in the deep point blade. So make sure you do that. And then for mat number 3, it's just going to be a regular, just vinyl. And that would just be the fine point blade. When I put them through the machine, I'm going to do mat 1 and mat 3 first, and then change the blade for mat 2, just so that I don't have to change it back and forward for each go. I just thought I'd show you the mat for the magnet just before I do the cut. So I've put it on a strong grip mat, but I've also put sticky tape around the edge just to make sure that it doesn't lift. That way you won't have any issues with it getting caught in the machine. To cut the magnet, I just need to change the cutting tool. So you can see I've just opened up the B clasp and I've taken out the fine tip blade and I've added the long blade on there. Cut everything and we've weeded it, it's a matter of putting it all together. Now you can see that I've actually chosen different vinyl than I did in the last tutorial. So I've got there an HTV Ront black vinyl, and I've also got HTV Ront metallic vinyl. So I'm going to use those and see how we go and see if that's got something to do with the way the last sticker turned out. You can see there that I'm also using a silicone mat to place down the iron-on. So I've used the second heat guide or the heat temperature on my easy press, and then I've just gone and done a first press of Hooray onto the black. So you can see there I've pulled it up. It's actually stuck down much better. And if you've watched the tutorial, the first tutorial about iron-on vinyl onto adhesive, which you can see in the corner here, I had a bit of an issue with pulling it up a little bit too early. But that seems to have worked. So now I've just got the sip, and I'm just going to do a run over the top. You could see on the Y there was a little bit of bubbling. Oh, that silicone matte's actually given the Hooray a bit of a texture. I'm not sure if I like that. But let's see. We'll lift up the sip. Yeah, nice. Oh, that's lifted so nicely. I think that might be one of the things that I've just used a better quality adhesive vinyl. The iron-on didn't really make a difference, but the quality, oh yeah, so see how Hooray's got a bit of a texture, but I actually don't mind it. But I'm not going to use it for the other two because I don't want that texture all the way through, but it's done I actually like that. So that Sip Hooray's worked really well. And now let's see how we go with our metallic vinyl from HTV Ront, because so far I'm thinking this is working much better than the one we did 2 weeks ago. So that cocktail, that's a Caesar, I think it's a Caesar glitter vinyl. And then the white is I think it's also Caesar, just a matte iron-on vinyl. So I'm just going to, I don't know why, I should have changed over, I think, the silicone matte. But yeah, so I'll do a quick run of that one and let's see how that one works. Oh, it looks good. So far, so good. Has warped that gold adhesive just a little. That's not too bad. And it's lifted really nicely. And then we just need to place the white down. And yeah, I've swapped, when I put the white down, I've swapped over to the baking paper because I just wasn't happy with getting that silicone texture on all of them. So yeah, I think it's actually worked out okay. I don't mind this. This is, it feels better than last week or the last tutorial. Yeah, look how nicely it's peeling off too. Oh, I'm actually quite happy with this. So I'm just going to do one more run over just to make sure that I can get rid of that that little bit of texture that the silicone matte left behind. It has stuck a little. So I think maybe you've got to really keep that temperature, that pressure and that temperature a bit lower. All right, so I'm going to speed this part up because that's just going to be a repeat of the last one. And again, I'm using Caesar for shaken and then the Caesar for the not bothered. So hopefully that works nicely. But then I just realised I forgot that was wasn't a great one, and I think it's a discontinued Caesar iron-on. See how it's kind of got a weird texture to it? It heats and cracks a bit. So I'm not sure if that was supposed to happen with that vinyl, but it does give it it gives it a cool texture, but it's not great for what we're trying to do here, because if you see the bottom part of each letter of shaken, it's flat. But when I iron it back over, and yeah, I'm going too hard on the iron, I think, because you can see the glue coming through. Oh, I've bubbled that a bit too, actually. So now it's a matter of putting these onto the magnet. Now, these magnets are adhesive. So when I've lifted them off the backing, you can see how some of that glue has moved with it. Look, I did get these from a shop down here in Tassie called Shiploads. So it's not the highest quality stuff. I bought it as, part of your little experimentation kit that you buy as you are walking around little craft shops and things like that for, I wonder if this will work. And you don't really want to spend too much money on that little experiment. So you grab something that's a little bit cheaper than possibly Spotlight have or any of those kind of things. So now I'm going to try just lifting and placing. Again, I'm still scared of putting some transfer tape over the top of this. If you are someone who's done this before and just thinks I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, please let me know in the comments below, because maybe I should be just putting it straight down. Maybe I should be using some transfer tape because it might help with my placement a little bit more. But I'm having issues because, for a few reasons, I haven't done the transfer tape because I'm a scaredy cat. But the second is that the magnet's adhesive and the sticker is adhesive. So as soon as they come into contact with each other, it's like a double adhesive off. So they're competing to be the strongest and it's not helping. And so you can see that then the backing tape of my sticker is actually sticking to the magnet. So if I was to do this again, this is one of my first recommendations, is to get non-adhesive magnet, because I think that might make your life a little bit easier. And then make sure that you have one of those beautiful felt scrapers, because these are, I think, a bit more delicate than you think they are, or than you'd hope. I keep getting stuck. This is like watching, I'm sure for you at home, this is like watching someone make the same mistake over and over and over again, and it's the most frustrating thing. Yeah, it must be hard to watch because I'll just keep doing the same thing wrong over and over again. But I've just bit the bullet because I got tired of it. I was like, I can't keep trying to stick this down. So I've just put it down, but you can see that it just seems to not be the same, completely the same. It's very close to being the same shape as the magnet, but it's not perfect. And I wonder if it's a heat thing, but I also stretched it as I placed it down. But I reckon it's because I've heated it up, so it's got a little bit more give in it. So yeah, I think we've got to decrease the temperature a little, or decrease the pressure anyway, because I think I put too much heat and pressure on it, and so it's stretched out the magnet. It stretched out the sticker, but at the same time, I think it looks cool. I'm going to speed the rest of these ones up because it's just a matter of repeating that process. But I don't get better at putting it down, so stick with it. I do think it is the amount of heat that I've put down. So let us know in the comments below if you've got a remedy for that. I think they actually look really cute. I do like them. I think that from my perspective, you can see that some of the magnet there, but I think it's okay. I think it's worked, and I think that with some practice, it will get better. I really love this concept, and I think if I practice this a little bit more, I think we're going to perfect it. I think using the adhesive magnets was probably a mistake, and I think too much heat, too much pressure, but the concept is very cool, and I think that's something that anyone could really have a go at. I'm not going to say it's an advanced project, because really it is creating some text, it's doing some layering, and it's doing some iron-on and some adhesive vinyl. So the actual process isn't too bad. It is just making sure that we find the right vinyl to do the job, and also the right magnets to do the job. But I think they look cool. when I showed my partner, she was like, no, they look great. And then she got really close and she went, actually, they're a bit of a Monet, because if you've watched Clueless, you know that it looks really good from far away. And then the closer you get, you see all the flaws. So something to play with. The other thing I also thought about was actually placing the adhesive vinyl down before I did any of the iron-on. So put it straight onto the magnet, so we haven't stretched that at all. We haven't melted it. We haven't changed its composition. And then adding the text over the top. So that could be another way to improve it. But I think there's a lot of potential in this project. It's good for beginners. It's good for people who have got want to try out different parts of their machine, particularly if you have got that longer blade. And also great if you want to use up some scrap vinyl. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I can't wait to see you next week for another market vlog. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.